The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
Joel.
It is 10:24 Eastern time.
No, it's 9:25.
Yeah, and when was the start time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So 24 minutes, 24, 25 minutes we've been sitting here and waiting on
Travis.
Yep. And why?
Because his mixer wasn't working.
Technical difficulties. Shocker. Yep. And he finally got it working. And so we go to start. And what does Travis do?
He's got to go get a cup of coffee.
He leaves and goes and gets coffee. Because, your time, my time, the listener's time.
Yeah.
Who cares, right? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But Travis is
and
getting his
he could
coffee.
probably hear all of this right now.
He's probably taking a big dump, too, because he just doesn't care.
We'll hear it if he flushes, right?
I would hope he knows how to mute a mic by now, but maybe not. So I'm just going to start. You feeling good, Tom? I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, here we go.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a clever name. We're Joel and Travis Dunn who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
We're back.
We are. 2
of the three.
Jeez, he must be grinding those beans. Maybe he does a pour over.
I think he's practicing.
I don't
know.
He needs
to practice.
He always drinks green tea, so maybe he doesn't know how to make coffee. Maybe he's calling Monica to say, Monica, how do I do this?
It's probably a Keurig too.
That's right. Yeah, the K cup. Oh Lord. All right. He's just standing right off camera and he's just waiting. But I don't know. We're here, and hey, to all the listeners that are here and clicked on it, thanks for clicking on it. It's been a month. This is probably the longest, break we've had in a while. It wasn't planned. It just kind of happened.
There was just no news.
It was a combination of holidays. I had some work travel, and no real news. Nothing crazy to report. And so I started to get a few messages, like, is Triple Drain dead? What's going on? It's like, no, I don't think so. No, we just,
it's probably because I was releasing videos.
Tom's doing his own content. Yeah. Which was good. So, but I don't know. We're here, or at least you and I are here, Tom. I appreciate
correct.
You. Yes.
I appreciate you too, Joel.
Thanks. Well, let's talk about a little bit of your content, Tom.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
That schmuck. Look at this guy. He's going to go play a game of pinball. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Are we live?
Oh, yeah, we sure are. Yep, we've already
Oh.
played the song. We've already done all of it. How's your coffee?
It's fine. I had to call Monica and see how the thing worked.
Yeah. All right, we are here. All right, let's talk about your content. Tom has become a reaction video type of guy. And I love it. He's got his thumbnail. There's an art to the thumbnail. You got to get your face on there. You got to act. What? There's a thing.
You got to pluck out the gray hairs on your beard.
Hey, thumbnail's a thing, because Travis, every pinball company video he releases, he shows us about 8 different thumbnails. I say us, it's us and the Loser Kid guys, and he's like, which one would you click on? My answer is none of them. My answer is none of them. Yeah.
There's a method to the madness to see what the CTR is and all that.
Click-through rate. That's what that is for people. Yeah, click-through rate.
Sorry.
So
I assume the listeners are much smarter than I am, so they know what's up.
I think he just says numbers, assuming that people or just letters. Just say some letters and it makes you sound smart. Yeah.
Something will stick, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you released, and it got a lot of clicks. What was it, Travis? You released a John Wick launch party tutorial. Is any idea if that's still accurate with the latest code release?
It is a little bit. I actually recorded another one because there's legitimately 3 different strategies to it.
Okay.
But I only went over one. And so I have the other one that I recorded earlier this weekend. Even with the code update, it's the same thing. So I actually got a film that or the audio after this podcast and get it up later today.
Oh,
Cool.
Good luck
That
with
way everybody can win. It works too. See, look.
Your audio?
No, the strategy.
you got it.
He
The
won.
strategy
trophy.
works. Joel, see
The
this?
GC.
Have you ever
I
won one
see
of
it.
these, Joel?
Sure haven't.
Dang it! I told
Yeah.
you. You need to challenge your family to a tournament.
Okay,
I'll make the trophies for you.
It's been a while since I played Wick, but I do know, I think it was you that actually brought to my attention that one of the things that the code, AI, right? AI is placing enemies in front of you based off of your progression of the game to get
So
your
we've
way.
been told.
That's
Yeah.
what we've been told, right?
That's what we've been told. Yeah.
So-
I
It's
haven't
a lie.
verified
It's
that.
all a lie.
I haven't
Yeah.
verified that there's AI built into the game on the node boards or anything. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
what
they
you-
move. So that's
Is there a chat?
That's something.
Is there a Chad?
Chat
what is it?
GPT or whatever.
Yeah.
Stern
Is that in the
GPT.
game?
Certain- yeah.
It needs to be
Um,
something where you ask it a question and it tells you the answer immediately, like how to do this shot or what is this or what is this mode.
But that would mean a microphone is now built into your pinball machine, which people would be freaking out about. But my question,
No
what
comment.
you had brought to my attention was the fact that, to get through a mode, let's say the mode takes 8 shots. But if all of a sudden a bunch of enemies are now in front of you, the enemy, you can't actually hit that shot, or the shot doesn't count until you get rid of enemies.
Right.
So some of these modes can become drastically harder because of this enemy and this enemy type progression that's blocking your path. And I didn't really consider that. I honestly, when I had the game, I don't know if I ever beat a mode. I don't even know if you could beat a mode at the time. But I don't know. How do you work around that? I mean, what is that fun? Is that
so for the newest strategy that I use, it's you just lean into using the enemies. You don't even worry about them. You want them out there now.
Okay.
Which sounds weird, but essentially there's jobs, right, which are your modes
Okay.
that are attached to the factions. And then you have adversaries, which are basically your solo battles, but
It's
you
like
have to get to 16 enemies, defeat it in order to qualify those, right?
Yep.
So naturally, if you got to defeat enemies, well, then why does it matter if they're out there? So then it becomes working backwards and picking the jobs in which the most enemies are out there, yet it has the most scoring available, right? And it's the safest shots that you can do. So overwhelmingly, that's Rescaroma, which is a center ramp yellow mode attached to, or the job is assassination.
I'm already confused.
So
How do you change job? How do you change job to get to that?
It's just the shots. Like any major shot pretty much
you have to
changes
hit
the
it?
job.
So before you hit the crate to start your job,
Basically, before you
wanna
go into the scoop.
Yep, before you go into the butt.
you want to make sure you've hit the center ramp. Center ramp was the last shot you hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the other jobs, like they score just fine, but ideally it's your center ramp job and your right orbit job. So it's Rescaroma and the Marquis de Gromont or whatever it's called.
Okay.
So it's the jobs. I know it gets confusing, but it's simply put, jobs have their own names, like assassination, gather intel. Those are 2 main ones. Those jobs are attached to factions, which are shown on the inserts on the playfield. So those are essentially the only 2 you really need to know.
Okay.
Because it's hard to survive anyways or stay alive. So, you might as well play the ones that give you the most bang for your buck. And so Rescaroma, it's just enemies everywhere. Like I think I count. Damn, Tom.
Smooth.
That's too much Mountain Dew.
What's in
It's
your
tea.
coffee,
This
Tom?
was tea.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's, sure.
It's boba tea, and you didn't know it.
Just to keep it purely simple, so that way Tom doesn't die on us. Just play Rescaroma because I found it has like 10 or 13 enemies right off the bat, somewhere around there. It might be like 11, 12.
So you're saying don't even are you even focusing on progressing through the mode, or you're just using it to hit enemies?
I do, but I don't. Like I want to get my enemies, but in that mode, as soon as you knock down the enemy, if the yellow insert's still lit, then that's your target to assassinate.
Yeah.
And then that's where your points are at. And it just like the points just keep going and going. And then of course, if you never miss a shot and you just play the ramps mode, just combo ramps the whole entire time. Like, that's literally the two things that you do. I wouldn't even do anything else. As it is, don't do anything else.
Tom is showing us that he
Did you get your contracts?
No, I have not gotten any contracts.
I mean,
What
I
do
had
you
a
mean?
couple. I went for it.
I don't have a Wick
This was
anymore.
limited to 200 people.
You didn't get it. It's red.
I did. It says
Oh.
earned. Gotta
Oh.
look close.
I just saw
it's
red
red because
thinking
it's
it was-
closed.
That contract
Ah.
literally came out as soon as I left work after filming on Wick.
It knew.
Yeah, I was
It knew.
halfway thinking, should I really turn around and go back to work?
You
just to
should have.
play?
But hey, what does
I
that
thought
tell you
about it,
though? What does
Maybe
that
you
tell
should
you
have
though
one
about
in your
Insider
house.
Connected? Like, I got to give props. I
It's
know
it's addicting.
Ben,
I'm
right?
addicted.
Ben was the guy that talked to us at the Stern Tour. He's the Insider Connected guy. Shout out to you, Ben. I know you're listening. The addiction is real because I know I had Jaws during the week, 4th of July week. So there were all those Jaws badges. And it's like, one of the badges was shooting a gazillion harpoons, like 500
Don't
harpoons.
look at Dalton's message.
Shooting 500 harpoons over the course of the week. And it's like, it's a fun little mode, but I would never play that mode that many times during a week. But I want to just get that little badge. And, it's like, ooh, quick shots. I need to get 10 of those. Let me pay attention. Let me focus on those. It's what a creative way to force you to try to play the game in a different, or focus on different areas of the game than you're used to. So I know we come off as stern shills pretty much every episode, but they're doing something right with Insider Connected. It
gives you a reason to play the game too, and to play it differently, and that's the key to longevity. You need to give the end user.
Turn around your car and go back to work to play the game.
I was just going to make more content. Don't worry about it, Joel. It wasn't for pleasure.
Yeah,
it was to make money.
Well, okay, making money, making content. Tom made a reaction video to Godzilla's Black and White. So let's just go around. What are our thoughts on that?
We're gonna have a reaction
I got
to
some
Tom's
thought.
reaction video.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing
We
right
should
now?
play it. We should play Tom's reaction video to react to his
I
reaction.
haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Was it good? Did you do a good job, Tom?
It was terrible.
It was good. Tom, you want to summarize your you want to summarize your reaction real quick? Yeah.
Please.
I was basically like, premium came out. It's all silver. It's all gray toned. I have some issues with it, but I understand why Stern's doing it. It's to make money.
What's your issue?
I don't really like the fact that one, it's almost the exact same artwork as the limited edition, but it's just not colored. My other issue is because it looks limited, even though it's not. It's also at a $4,000 cheaper price tag than the limited edition. So, I'm getting to a point where like I don't want to buy the limited editions anymore because I don't know if in a couple of years they're going to come out with an edition I might actually want to buy for a cheaper price tag.
Yeah.
So like I said, I understand why they're doing it. But as a consumer, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I don't need to rush into buying these things.
So then here's the question then. If that's what it's leading you to think, then would you feel the same way if you were a premium buyer? And that's all you were getting instead of LEs, if you're just getting premiums only?
Yeah, because maybe I wanted the black and white edition, and now I have to sell my colored one to get the black and white.
Right. So you still feel the same way?
Art package, obviously.
Let's ask this then. If the three of us were in the market to buy a premium Godzilla today, would you be placing an order for the normal colored version, or would you be getting the black and white version?
And here's the thing. I would not. I'm not big on the black and white.
Okay.
So to me, no. But
what about you, Travis?
I'm in between. I really like the look of it, but I'm also really lazy and don't want to pull my machine upstairs, up the basement. So
that's what I'm saying. If our no collection, you don't own a Godzilla, and you're a new buyer. I'm ready.
Oh, if I'm a new buyer,
yeah, I'm a new buyer. I'm ready to buy a Godzilla premium.
Oh yeah, brand new, like black and white, probably. I'm a brand new buyer. It's the weird part with this machine. It's going to be a long tail sell. It just is, because one, it's one of the best selling games of all time, let alone just Stearns, like just of all time. It's a great machine. So there's thousands out there already, which means they all, like, I know, spoiler alert, all the ones out there right now have color on it. So that means pretty much that the options are those current customers either have to offload that game, sell it, right?
Yep.
Against the competition of now the other option being black and white, but they got to sell it in order to go get a black and white.
Enjoy
right?
enjoy the hit on your purchase.
Right. So that's kind of where everybody's at. So that's why I think that this is going to be like a long tail thing. And especially now, it's not limited in any sort of way. There's no time release. There's no limited production. It's just all, like even Gomez said on the promo video, right? As long as there's demand, we'll keep putting it out. So there's really no rush to come out and get it at this point. So it's like, what's stopping somebody from just even setting on their color version, right?
Yep.
And waiting for a used black and white version now?
Well,
You know, I think that there's just ways. I think that the end consumer is going to get very savvy when it comes to these different models with how to get one if they truly want one.
so
I think that's what we'll see.
I mean,
the cabinet, the actual like foil.
Yeah,
I mean that's awesome.
nice.
That's
Yeah, I think the game looks dope. It looks cool.
But Joel, wouldn't you have wanted the foil on your colored version?
So if I answer that question, if I had no Godzilla right now and I was going to place a new order, I would go black and white. And the only reason I go is it's unique. I think it would stand out in a collection. Just like when I had Zach let me borrow the Elvira Blood Red Kiss edition.
I was just going to say, what if you had a
Beautiful.
Blood Red Kiss?
If I did, no, I would probably, then it would become I don't need two black and white with red highlight games right next to each other.
To be fair, too, the Blood Red Elvira is spectacular.
It is.
There's not many games that look like that, and I've heard that even from all the previous Elvira adopters that they're like, holy crap.
It's
But Travis, that's kind of the same story I was talking about. I mean, you know, how many versions of Elvira were there? You had the premium and the LE.
Hey, shut up. Keep buying them.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think it's
the 40th.
One of those, right. And I think it's clear that the strategy is keep using the license as you can and figure out a way to kind of make it new, but still the same.
And
right?
As a manufacturer and a distributor, I totally get that. But as a collector and a consumer, that's where my issue lies, I guess.
Right. I think that's a good issue to have. I mean, it's great feedback to give. I think it is important for the people that are spending money on these products to speak up, because, I mean, Stern's been clear. They're going to listen. You know, I think a lot of pinball manufacturers out there want to listen to the consumer, because obviously they're going to guide decision making at the highest level in terms of like what themes to give or go get, what type of models to put out. So, you know, I think any feedback is good at this point.
What about, Tom, have you ever had a game that then was vaulted? And then like, were you in a position where you own the original Iron Man and then they release Iron Man Vault? And did you have to play that? And did you play the game of like, wait, should I upgrade?
Yes.
And what'd you do in that situation?
I did not upgrade.
And why? Like, what was the justification?
Because I didn't feel the need to.
Okay.
So that was, you know,
yeah.
I already bought it. It's almost the exact same game with the exception of the magnets.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I could have took a drill and put a bigger magnet in there, but I wasn't going to do that. But no, I just felt like, you know what, I'm just going to be happy with what I have, which is fine too.
Yeah. And I was in the same boat with TNA. I mean, I have an original TNA, and when they announced that they were going to do a new run with like new cosmetic stuff, better screen, better back box hinge, like, or the drop down panel for the screen is different. Like, I had that thing of like, I love my TNA. I've got it dialed in. I got it, all the mods or everything. I've done all the cosmetic stuff that they are adding in the new version. I've already added manually, but I was still very curious. Like, this is the better version. This is a keeper pin for me. Should I be upgrading? So I get it. I totally get it. And I also understand why Stern is doing it. But you've said Stern is listening. I will tell you right now, spoiler alert, I'm really considering getting a Jaws. I love Jaws. I've really enjoyed that game.
That's great.
But I know I'm not getting an LE. They're gone.
Yep.
So to me, it's like at some point I need to get a premium. Do I feel that I'm in a rush?
Wait 3 years.
That's the thing. It's like, do I feel like I'm in a rush that I have to get a premium as soon as possible? No. But then you get these type of re-releases or new cosmetic releases, and it almost makes me wonder, like, is there a chance that down the road they would do a new Jaws art package, and maybe I would prefer that one over the premium that I would get?
I mean,
I think that's a great question.
Here's the problem, though.
Yeah.
If you base your today decision on what ifs,
sure,
you're always going to be spinning your wheels, right? Because there's always a new game coming out from a manufacturer. Like Stern has 3 cornerstones a year.
Yep.
You got Jersey Jack putting out games. You got Spooky putting out games. So, I think that the whole wait and see thing is just kind of like, it's just up to you, like how you want to approach it. But facing facts, wait and see usually leads to just waiting in perpetuity, because then the next shiny thing comes out and then you're kind of frozen still, like, well, should I get this? And then the next thing comes out and then you're like, well, should I get this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I don't know. It's just like, it paralyzes a consumer when they get in that vortex, right? As opposed to, if you really like the game and it's available now, why not just get it now, enjoy it, and then when you don't want it any longer, sell it. Simple as that. Now, if you're totally guided by money, right, on your money purchase and all that, again, probably not the right hobby for you in terms of getting new in-box pins, because you might as well do day trading, because it's hard to tell, like up and down, right? It's just it's very hard to tell. And I think there's a lot of people that came into the hobby in 2020 that were used to everything just going nuts, like every LE would gain value, premiums would gain value, because there wasn't enough supply going out.
That's typically not the case.
Can you answer whether or not, like, are these selling well? Have you got orders for this?
So.
Have you seen, Travis? Is the
Godzilla selling well?
Is the Godzilla black and white selling
it's just
well?
Like I said. So I'm not going to give exact orders, but I will say it's going to take a while.
Are you buying a new car?
Am I what?
Are your kids going to college? That's the question. Yeah. All right. No. Well, my question
but
was
the reality, though, for the reasons I stated. There's so many out there already, and there's not going to be extreme FOMO up front for this for somebody to feel like
limited.
Because
like
it's not
JP 30th,
right,
or Elvira Blood Red Kiss,
right. And that was the lose-lose situation that Stern was going to be in regardless. Because remember what happened with Jurassic Park? Yeah. Like, those still sold out, but yet everybody else lost their minds about it. So now on the other side, their answer to that is these anniversary editions don't have it limited. Well, if it's not limited, that means you're going to affect the behavior of who's purchasing these as well. That's just what happens. So I think people are going to wait a little bit, and the people that want to get the black and white, well, if they already have the color version, they still got to resell that game, right? To get the funds, to get the space. That's going to take time. It's like you're not going to see 2,000 Godzilla premiums go up for sale and then they all sell instantly in order to get the black and whites, right? Well, I think it's going to take a little while into Q3, Q4 to see that trickle effect.
You know what I think would be cool is, like, if you could buy, like, the little Godzilla model that's gray and put it in your colored game. Do things like that, but
that'd be cool.
Or apparently, they're going to release the topper in black and white. Apparently, all the art blades are
the accessories.
Release. I will tell you what's comical is once I saw the game, one of my first thoughts was, what about the mods? Like, I have every Stumbler mod in my game. You can kind of see right there by my shoulder. Like, that's the burning subway mod. Every single Stumbler mod I have in the game, and I'm thinking, like, shoot, is Davey going to remake or like sell, like, instead of the main board, like, would he sell a black and white version of the Tokyo sign, just the plastics for the people that already have, or like, I don't know. I know Diddy Mods, he's already announced that he's remaking his in black and white versions. And that's kind of crazy. Like, I have the speaker lights from Doug at Speaker Light Kits. Like, those are awesome, but would that look cool on black and white? I don't know. Speaking of speaker lights, the fact that Jaws now has speakers by Stern, Wick now has speakers by Stern. They've made it very clear that they're going to have the speaker lights probably in every game moving forward.
Are
My
they going to
request is, are they
backtrack?
going to go backwards? Because I'll tell you right now, as much as I love these, if I can have speaker lights that interact with Godzilla, I'm getting those. I mean, is it worth Stern's? Maybe that's a question for you guys. Do you think it would be worth Stern's time to pay somebody to code in additional light shows in previous games to sell that accessory?
100%.
Does it move more units?
Move which unit? Does it
Oh,
move more
does it move
accessories?
or-
Yes. Does it move more games?
Does it make money?
Yes.
If it makes money and it's profit, then yeah, I would say it's probably worth it.
Well, like there was a huge demand for expression light kits for, I mean, I still think they're not technically in stock at most distributors. Like there is a demand for additional light show mods, but I don't know the profit margin. I don't know what Stern's profit margin is on expression light kits or speaker. They haven't even sold technically the speaker light kits yet. So is it worth, like, I think they'd sell a lot of them, but is that worth their I don't know. I'm not the
I feel like this would have been a great question to ask during our Stern visit a couple of months ago.
well, they didn't at that time. They hadn't really talked about that they were going to sell that as an accessory. They
Yeah,
said they
that's
were going to
true.
sell it for Wick. So, but
I
to me, yes,
I think anything you can put on a machine that makes it more useful for somebody to enjoy is worth exploring. Now, whether it's worth it from a monetary standpoint, I don't know. Like it's hard to say just because obviously you got to buy in bulk. You got to decide, okay, what's your worker's time worth? And all that. So, right.
Mhm.
That's all business stuff. But if the end user likes it and it's something that appeals to them and it's something that causes them to see a pro in terms of buying the product, then yeah, that's worth exploring.
Well, yeah, I think I mean, honestly, if they announce that they would consider it or do that, I don't know. I mean, I have speaker light kits in all my games. I don't currently have one in Black Knight because I'm borrowing it. I know Tom look at his back row. So it's like, once you step into that realm, it kind of, when a pin doesn't have it, it looks odd. And so, I know Doug speaker light kits. That's what he does. I know Pinwoofer now is in the lighting game. Musil Mods is in the lighting game. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting because I've actually talked to a few people that have played the Wick LE, and because there's one on location that's nearby, right? So it has like the whole, like during one of the scenes, the shaker motor will go nuts with the gunshots and all that, and it flashes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I think that's really cool. Like, I like that type of interaction. And then I talked to a lot of other people, and they had no idea that was what was happening. Like, it was so funny. I had a good laugh about this. There was multiple people that thought the machine was malfunctioning because they're like, I'm just playing and I'm hitting a post, and now the shit's just shaking out of it and it's flashing everywhere. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, oh.
Should have told them they added switches to posts.
Yeah. It's just like I was like, that's the dynamic gunshot scene thing or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's one of those things that almost, if you know it's coming, it's interesting. But if you don't realize that that's what's happening, I could see how all of a sudden it's kind of jarring that the machine's just like shaking to death. And you're just like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything, but apparently the machine is saying I'm doing a lot. But that's kind of like what the feedback was initially that I was getting from people.
I get it. I know what they're doing with Wick is unique. The fact that the speaker lights and the expression lights are reacting to the movie clip, not necessarily to your gameplay.
See, they should have put that on Godzilla 70th. Every time it hits that little pop, Godzilla just roars.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
Roar,
if they would have,
roar.
if Godzilla 70th had expression lights,
I'm kidding, Tom. They shouldn't do that.
If they would have done
Joel,
something
I'm
like
serious.
that,
Go ahead.
I'm saying if for Godzilla, if Godzilla 70th would have had expression lights, I would really be tempted to like that. Really would have.
But does it need expression lights?
Does it need it? No, it doesn't need. It doesn't need it.
Like I still associate expression lights with like a concert in a box. In Wick, it kind of makes sense just because of the scenes. The very scenes have unique lighting and everything. With something like Godzilla,
I think it's a. I just think
don't
it's an
know.
immersive. I think it adds just like color GI. Like the fact that
I agree with
think
Joel.
it adds a lot. I think it really changes. I mean, even so, Cactus Canyon has color GI, but when you're playing different modes, the whole GI color changes. Sure, I don't have a crazy light show like GNR or something, but it's just like this mode feels different than that mode. And why is that? It's the lighting. And so that's
isn't
why
that on the playfield though, directly, and not on the sides?
it is. But if until Stern goes to RGB GI, which they've never done as far as I know, if they have color GI, it's because like Godzilla has white bulbs and red bulbs. So there's
Right.
times where only the red are on, and there's times that only white. I know Star Wars had like white, red, and blue. Like but these are separate bulbs. Until Stern creates a RGB bulb, like all Jersey Jack games have color RGB lights. I think most spooky games do. I mean, but I know Stern's views probably.
And how easy is it to track?
That's what I was
you're
going to say.
doing in those games.
If all of a sudden your mode, all your GI is blue, it's a lot harder to see the ball if there's no white light on. So I get why Stern is saying great. That's what expression light's for. But I do genuinely feel that the change of lighting does change the mood of whatever you're doing. So if Godzilla, if they were to add speaker lights that reacted to the game, to me it's like just do a burning pattern for a track mode, make them flash red every time your red GI flashes. And then maybe just have the lights be different color when you're in different modes, or maybe do what Jaws does where the chum line is showing progression. So you can see a similar progression because every mode has, Geigen's 8 shots. So maybe have the speaker light change for every shot you hit. It's like there's simple things you could do for some of these previous games, I think.
But
for a
with
speaker
something
light
like
show.
that, would you, as a player, would that make a difference? Like, would you be able to tell that the speaker lights are doing
Joel's
something?
not a player. That is a trick question.
Well, I'm just saying, like, somebody that's standing off to the side.
I'm just kidding,
Yeah, it looks
everybody.
cool.
Yeah.
But if you're actually engaged with the game and you're tracking a ball,
Yeah.
does the lights going off like up here out of your view, like it's in your peripheral still, but does that affect like how much you're enjoying it? Because it's just kind of like, for me, if I'm wanting to design pinball and I'm thinking of cool things to add on, I'm trying to think of ways that I can make somebody that's currently playing, how to make their experience even better. And that's why I'm like always like about the LCD movie clips, just because it's hard to track. So
True. Well,
I'm thinking
I'd
of
relate it to going to like a concert or a movie, or something like that, where like, do you want mono sound or do you want stereo sound? Do you want, it could be
I want surround
the
sound,
best artists
Atmos.
in the world, but if they're not, if there's not like flashy lights and stuff like that, it's just more immersive.
So
Well-
what we need to develop then, guys, nobody else, like everybody else pause the podcast right now so you don't hear of this great idea. We need to develop and have it out by TPF 2025, like the immersive like light system for Sterns, to where you just attach it at the top of the box. You drape it over
Okay.
yourself. It's blacked
Yeah.
out, has lights just
What I will say,
We're not going that crazy.
so
but-
Dang
my
it.
TNA,
$1 million idea, Tom.
My TNA, I had tapped into the speaker lights and I actually put rails on the back of my game. So if I play TNA with the lights off, my entire room changes colors based on where. And I know, okay, I'm yellow. That means I need to hit the scoop to start the reactor. Oh, I'm red. I mean, like the whole room changes color. So that's a little dramatic. But I also know, Travis, you're the extreme where you can play a Stranger Things premium and not know it's a premium because you don't actually look at the projector. When you've admitted when you play, you're only looking at the first half of the playfield. Like all of your measurements and alignments, you align to the art and the inserts on the first half of the playfield.
I look at things like if I'm trying to play a game, I will look at things that matter to the gameplay for me. Like, what's going to change the ball path? What's going to light up? Where are the flippers at? Where are the posts at? Where are the rubbers at? Like, those are things that I hone in on. Now, other people, they may look at stuff like, oh, cool artwork. Oh, there's a projector. And that's perfectly fine. It's just not something that I actively look for. That being said, the last time I played a Stern or a Stranger Things Premium, I knew it was a premium because we have one set up in our showroom and I know it's a premium. There.
I know you've admitted that before.
I mean,
that you don't notice some of these things, but I think in this,
it's like, do you look at the artwork on a ramp? Like, how often do we do that?
Every time I hit the freaking ramp, I'm watching the ball.
You just stare at the art. Yeah, you're watching the ball, not the artwork.
But it's there. But okay, so ramp is one, art is one thing, but lighting is just like it drastic. Like maybe
I'm
this. Okay, when you're
on the ball,
when you're
Joel.
playing Jaws now they make it where when you're in night swim, the whole GI dims down. You notice that, right? Even though you're looking at the ball, you notice it's darker, right?
Yeah.
So lighting does affect you.
Black and white games for everybody.
Of course, lighting affects everything because lighting guides you as a player. Like,
so
what
that's
is
what we're
happening?
talking about. But you're saying if it's
you're
on
talking
this
about
back
projector
box,
screen.
No, I'm saying it's
like, what are you talking about?
Back box speaker lights. You're saying would have zero impact on your play experience.
Well, yeah, because the pinball is underneath the glass, not up on the back box. It wouldn't affect me at all. Like,
well, it's
Joel.
Tom
Joel,
has
you're
the Jaws
talking
LE. It has speaker lights. Do they affect your play while you play at all?
No, I'm not looking at
Tom, I thought you're on my team here.
Joel, you got to remember.
am, but
you'll learn this. Joel will figure this out, Tom.
That stuff on the LCD and that is more for the group of three that are that are in your group watching you play. I mean, to be honest,
I know this might be shocking, Joel. When you play pinball, you watch the pinball.
Yeah.
And you watch it move around.
I will say, since I got the Jaws topper, I have actually looked up to look at the Jaws topper, though.
The Jaws,
what is it doing? What is it doing?
It's awesome.
But that's the key, though. If you are going to add in topper stuff and you're going to add in lights, then you have to automatically do something in your game with what the layout allows, and you have to make the rules around having the ball stop, because then you're creating that moment in time for somebody to stop watching the ball, and it directs their attention somewhere else, whether it's on the speaker lights or on the topper. Because if all that stuff's going off and you're not able to even look at it for even if it's like 3 seconds, right? Because it's like those are decisions that got to be made, and that's what makes it tough. Like to give a prime example of this, Indisc 2020, Tom might remember this. That Black Knight there had the topper on, and this was Indisc 2020, so January of like 4 years ago.
Yeah, when I was at the old museum.
Right. Yeah. And I know I played that game 4 times, didn't even realize it had a topper. I talked to other people, like
isn't
80%
the topper
of players.
Cool? And you're like, what topper?
Right. Like, yeah, like 80% of the players didn't even realize the topper was on there. Now, it's not saying like that doesn't take anything away from it. It's just if you're in a situation where you're so focused on one instance of a ball moving, and of course, in a world championship, hopefully you're watching the ball and not looking up at the topper. But yeah, it's just that just shows you like human nature. You're going to track what's moving and you're going to track with where your attention's at. Like it would be cool. I don't even know if this is possible. If a ball stops in the end lane, like maybe like on Jaws, right? That post comes up, the ball stops, and the GI like leads your eyes to follow all the way up to the topper. Then the topper does something. Like I don't know if any game's ever done something like that. I don't even know if it's possible.
You could do, yeah. Okay, so I will agree with you that yes, while you're in the middle of gameplay, I mean, Tom has admitted it. He's got the speaker lights on Jaws. While you're actively playing the game, you're probably not going to see those speaker lights. Maybe if he turned all the lights off in his room and that was the only game on, maybe there would be some residual lighting coming off of that would impact him. Maybe. But I do think expression lights, because of how much they are.
Because it's in the
actual. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
That makes an impact. just like color changing GI in JJP games or the Hot Rails in JJP games or the color GI in Cactus Canyon or some of the other CGC, like there can be an impact. I totally get that. But I don't know. To me, maybe this bridges us into the conversation of just pinball enthusiasts. I think there's a lot of people that the gameplay is actually one of the lesser reasons they own the game. Like they own the game because of the theme, the way it looks like, the way it makes their arcade room. I mean, Tom, if Stern did that, if they made backwards compatibility for every one of those Stern games behind you, how many of those kits would you buy?
Probably
for the speaker lights.
For the speaker lights?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would buy them. I mean, honestly, I probably would.
But that's just this.
It's an aesthetic thing.
100%, 100%. But I think what's interesting, I think a lot of the pinball podcasts out there are people like yourselves that are tournament focused, or they're streamers, they play a lot, or they're people that are just active pinball players. But I'm meeting more and more, let's call them youth enthusiasts, just people that just love pinball. And if you try to have a conversation to them about code or what's your favorite mode, it's just, they just don't care. They just don't care. And I'm starting to really appreciate it. Like it's almost this just sense of like, what I like about pinball is that feeling of just watching the ball fly around.
Travis and I care about the code.
Well, yeah, we do. But we talked about this, I think, like a couple of podcasts ago after the Wick LE thing and all that.
Top two things were art and is it just theme?
Theme and art. Those are the two things up front every single time. I mean, just put it this way. If code was really that important in terms of getting somebody to adopt day one, right? Don't you think like every single manufacturer would put a premium on that to have it so fleshed out at the beginning of it? Like, I know there's obviously barriers and different reasons for the code being at various stages. Yeah. And there has to be a use afterwards of seeing how it works in the real world. But, it's obvious that the things that are fully fleshed out as soon as a game releases is the theme, right? And the art. Yeah. Like, those are the two things overall.
Yeah. Well, okay. So code, let's actually talk about this game behind me. Black Knight Sword of Rage. Zach swapped out Jaws, which honestly, my whole family loved Jaws. My dad told me, he's like, I have Turtles over there right now. Back. He's like, if you want to get Jaws and swap out Turtles with Jaws, I'd be okay with it.
Joel's dad's like, don't bring your golf cart to me anymore, son, to get Jaws.
My dad, who's not a pinball guy, but it's just, they've really killed it with the theme immersion, just the overall, there's something about that dreary that just gets you. My mother-in-law had a great time on it. That experience of hitting the fin when it pops up, building, shoot it now, like they've really done a great job.
Were they commenting, well, why doesn't Jaws eat the ball?
No, never happened. Never happened. But I really, really, really love and enjoy that game. And my brother and I've streamed it a handful of times. Zach gave us a topper. I have a stream out there with the topper cam. The topper is actually awesome. I get it. It's expensive, but for what it is, the light shows there's some really good light show integration. Another thing they pointed out is it changes based on the time of day. Same with just the background screen, the clip of the boat just in water, that changes on the LCD during the day. So if you play at night, it's a picture of the boat at night, which, I mean, that's clever. So the lighting changes. It's very well done. And Elizabeth was on the streams with us and explained the code. But what my brother admitted is, as much fun as we've had during that game, he's like, sometimes pinball is so complex that it's just like he gets overwhelmed. And I've had that feeling as well. When I've had coders on to explain a game where they're so excited about these little things that they've added, and well, if you do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, sometimes it's just fun to just turn on a game and play it and immediately know what to do, immediately understand it, and just play the game. And that's what we've experienced with Black Knight. Black Knight, I tried to find some tutorial videos out there. There's not a ton. But what I've realized is you can explain this game very quickly. And so for us on stream 1, we stepped up and just kind of immediately knew what to do with chat helping us out with a few minute, like small things. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was just nice to just play it, get our butts kicked, but have a good time. And so I think it's funny that a lot of people talk about monsters being super easy or like the code just being so small. Nobody says that about, I mean, maybe I'm just not hearing them. Nobody says that about Black Knight, but I feel like from a code standpoint, no offense to Timmy or anybody, it's just the code here is very simple. It's very simple. I watched Eric Stone beat the game, defeat the Black Knight. He did it in like 10 minutes. You can't do that on Godzilla. You can't beat, like, maybe you can, maybe, I don't know. But it's like, you can't like beat every bad guy in the game. 10 minutes. Am I missing something? In the tournament scene, or do people talk about this game being shallow ever, or too simple?
I mean,
I don't think I've ever heard Black Knight called simple on the tournament scene. I mean, I get it. Like from a rule set point of view, it may not be as complex or deep, but if it's set up right, it's like you're not even going to get to the end of the game regardless.
The brutality of it, yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like it plays quick. It plays like a modern solid state to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it feels.
But I will tell you, the stream ended, and my brother was like, "I loved that." He's like, "I really had a lot of fun with that game," and I was like, "Well, if I could call up Zach right now, would you rather me get Black Knight or Jaws Premium?" And he goes, "Black Knight." I was like, "That what?" What?
Give it a few weeks.
I know. But I'm just saying, but that alone, it's just comical to me because there have been times that Zach's reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, what about streaming this game?" And I always say yes. Like, yeah, let's do it. But some of the games he's mentioned, I'm like, all right, this might be painful.
I think there's always like a euphoria when you get a new game. Like,
true.
This is awesome.
The honeymoon stage, right?
The honeymoon
I get
stage.
It. But there was,
and then your wife wants you to take out the garbage.
I just had low expectations for anytime anybody's ever asked me about Black Knight. I've just say that game's brutal. That's all I've known about the game. The game's brutal. The game's hard. It's fast. I never really knew anything about the code because it's brutal. You're going to drain before you can experience any of it. But once you start to find the shots, that game's a ton of fun. Honestly, Cactus Canyon, I didn't have big expectations for Cactus Canyon when Zach let me borrow it, but we just had fun. Like, we just had fun with it. And fast forward, I ended up buying it because I had so much fun with it. So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on Black Knight? So as tournament players, have you beat the Black Knight? Is that the game that you can blow through and it's just like, it's fun?
Not in a tournament, but like on
just
a location.
Playing on
sure.
location, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so, to put this easily, you can do that in terms of like enjoying a game,
Sure.
right? Just for what it is. You can do that with any game. Like there's nothing out there that says because a rule set is deep or wide that you have to do everything in the game to enjoy it. Like that's where a lot of people went sideways with Avengers Infinity Quest. They got so caught up in what the gems did that you could have easily just ignored it completely, not worried about it, and just played through your battles and all that. So there's a lot of games like that, like Godzilla, for instance. You could just do your battles and not worry about anything else. Even if the side stuff starts, you can just do that, right? You can take that mentality over to any game possible. Same thing for Star Wars. Everybody talks about the multipliers, right? Like, oh, I'm confused because of the multipliers. You could just park it on the left ramp, never touch that action button until you're in video mode, and just play it. Like there's nothing that really says you have to do that. So essentially that's the way that I look at some of these rule sets that are less complex, like your Black Knights, your Munsters, stuff like that. Sure, it has some nuance to it, but it doesn't have the extra on top that gets you sidetracked. It just feels easier to stay focused on what you're currently doing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And you can do that across any game. You do not have to get hung up on a bunch of sites. Like take Jaws, for instance, right?
Yep.
Hit the captive ball enough times to light your encounters, right? From there, you have a choice. You can either keep bashing the shark to get your encounter bonus, 2x scoring, all that. Or you could just start your encounters and just play through those
Yep.
and not worry about it at all. Not worry about beachgoers, nothing else. So, I mean,
Well-
that's really the reality of it. You can play these
Yeah.
games without doing everything in it. And in tournaments, oftentimes, that's how you'll play it. You'll stay very focused on one strategy. Hi, doggo.
Tom's dog is on camera. Yeah, I get it, but I think one of the key is like Jaws. If my mother-in-law steps up to Jaws,
Mhm.
does she know or care about beachgoers? Does she know or care about any of even the modes? I don't even know if she knows she was in a mode. But what she does know is when that shark pops up, she wants to hit it. And when she hits it, it roars at you and it goes down. Like that's satisfying. Or if you hit that wave ramp and now all of a sudden you're on that upper play field, every shot up there, that's how, like there's a kinetic satisfaction part that's important. And if they get to the part of multi-ball where it's like, what, the fin pops up and I have a time shot, it's there needs to be something interactive. That like, I mean, that's what I like about Cactus Canyon. You got Bart back there. It's very easy. Every time you hit him, his hat flies up. People love that. Oh, drop targets. Bad guys are popping up. I can hit those. People love that. Godzilla. You got the building. Oh, the building, like the whole game reacts when you hit that building. The building's going down. Mecha's going down.
I feel like we're talking about two different things though,
But-
because you're talking about somebody that's basically brand new to pinball or doesn't know much about it compared to somebody that has played pinball for a while, right? Like you and your brother. You
Yeah.
guys have played for a long time. So you already have a foundational set of what your opinion is of fun pinball and not fun pinball. Like you already have a
We do.
baseline understanding of that. So that's going to be the prism you're going to view this from, right? Compared to somebody just off the street that doesn't know what a ramp is, doesn't know what an orbit is, doesn't know what a pop bumper is, right? They're going to zero in on a shot right up the middle that's a bash because it does something.
Yes.
Whereas like you're
relying
talking
on the
about,
mechanical. Yeah.
right? And your brother, he's enjoying Black Knight, and that's after playing everything else he's played because he has that baseline foundation to appreciate other nuances that a brand new player would not understand.
Well,
they just wouldn't.
You use Star Wars as an example, though. And my problem with that is, did my mother-in-law enjoy Star Wars? No.
Why not?
Star Wars, because there's nothing in the game.
Is she a Star Wars fan?
She is, but there's nothing in
Like,
the
is
game.
she a big fan? Like I'm talking.
No,
like,
she's not.
That's what I mean.
No, but
that theme is squarely for Star Wars fans.
Okay,
Squarely.
but I'm saying the game itself, the kinetics. We know the toys in Star Wars. The Death Star is awesome, but how many times did I experience the Death Star the whole time I had it? One
You
time.
need to find a new mother-in-law. That's what I'm saying.
The Hyperloop is awesome, but it's a challenge to experience that Hyperloop. Everything else in the game for a casual player, there's really just nothing there. And even my brother, who you said, like, did he enjoy Star Wars? Kind of. Did I enjoy Star Wars? Yes, because my skill level is high enough that I can explore the modes,
Whoa.
create a strategy, and kind of work my way
Right.
through the game.
Well, you're getting into design theory too.
Yeah.
Like that's a Steve Ritchie decision on to have the pin play like that and have it designed like that. And that's, I mean, that just shows you how difficult this job is. That
Oh, yeah.
people have to take a theme and they have to think of, okay, what's going to appeal to the most people. And that's what makes Godzilla great because it does have something right up the middle
Yeah.
that makes sense. And then it has various shots that's still challenging for even an average player to an above average or even a world-class player. There's different challenges to it. And that's
So
the key to a great game.
This conversation, we ended up, we streamed. It's now 12 o'clock at night. I walked Jared out to the car and we're talking and he's just, I said, honestly, we've gotten lucky in the last 2 years. We've had some bangers. There's been some really fun pins and we start rolling through them and the question was like, what, were there any pins that were hard to stream or not as fun? We did say, James Bond, but we had super early code. Now that game's great. But one of the games that we admit we struggled with streaming was Godfather. Godfather was, and even Eric Minier was on the show. He was awesome. He explained everything, but the complexity of that game it's so complex. It's so complex that even like just trying to wrap our heads around how do we want to tackle this to create an enjoyable path. It was really hard. It was really hard for us. And Jared was asking why. And I started, and I know this is a critique to a lot of JJP games, which is, what's his name? Keith Johnson. Keith Johnson. Keith Johnson code is extremely complex and extremely deep. That's what he's known for. That's just what he does. So my question is, if JJP is rumored to have Harry Potter, one of the greatest themes ever, everybody, all age ranges love Harry Potter. But if you put Keith Johnson on Harry Potter code, is there a chance that they create a game that is so complex that has 7 books worth of stuff in it that the casual, my mother-in-law that steps up to it is gonna just be overwhelmed or have no idea? Like, how do you balance that?
Or
with
maybe
that?
she'll love it because there's so much of the theme in it.
I don't know.
Or maybe they'll take the wands out because wands are dangerous.
That could be it. I mean, it's tough because let's face facts. Like Toy Story, right? It
Yeah.
was a shallower code,
Yeah,
but it's still a fun game to play. So
it's a really fun game.
you got to find a balance between. I know that there's a lot of manufacturers out there struggle with this too. It's with where the prices are. Sometimes it might feel like you have to justify a price tag by adding in extra stuff, but you got to be careful with how the code and the rules are that it becomes so bloated that it becomes convoluted at that point to where your end user has no idea what's going on. And the tough part with pinball is, and even if you get to be an average player, above average player, you have to develop a lot of skills that become automatic to where you don't have to think about live catching, drop catching, dead bouncing, trapping up, stuff like that, right? Like those things have to become automatic, because if they're not, you're just purely focused on that and you're not focused on anything else. So good luck figuring out a Jersey Jack pinball rule set when you're just fighting the pinball anyways and you have no clue where you're at. So yeah, I think if they have Harry Potter, I would say if they can develop a rule set that is not super easy, but not super complex and super deep, just something mid-range, I think that would be beneficial.
What if you coded a game in a way where the complexity, like you don't unlock it until you get past step 1 in the game? Like what I mean is, like I think multipliers. I think multipliers for a lot of people get very over. Like that was a problem with Star Wars. Was if you think about how many lights you have, your mode shots, but then you also have the combo. You can move the combo. You have the multiplier lights. It's like, what light am I looking at? It's
so you're talking like a plus, like kind of like a console game, like you defeat the game, then you play like another playthrough, and it's like a plus. No, I'm thinking like something like that. What if like you like the first mode you play, there are no multipliers. You can't use them. You can't do it. It's just that way. The first mode you're playing is just very clearly focused on the mode. But once you get through the first mode, which most casuals won't, every mode after that, you have more options. You can do more things.
My question is, does somebody who is not into pinball even realize a game like Star Wars has multipliers? Probably
they have no idea.
But what they realize is,
I have no idea.
But all the lights, that's the problem that I think, like Deadpool, what I like about Deadpool is the light show. When you're in a mode, the only lights that are on are the mode shots. Like there's nothing else in the way. And then for you to cash out, every light's off and it's like, boom, it's like strobing. Hit that. And that's you get the opposite in a JJP game. Every light's on all the time. And so it's very confusing to know what to hit. And we've avoided that. I mean, maybe one way you avoid that is you can't stack a mode in a multi-ball. That way you don't have multi-ball light show and mode light show freaking out. Maybe we're in a whole nother topic of just communication during a game.
What if the game taught you how to play the game?
Yeah, a tutorial option would be cool, especially with light shows. I think some games are better than others with choreographing.
So like Insider
what the jackpot
Connect,
shot is, or this.
Log in and it goes, okay, hit these 3 shots. This is going to start your multi-ball, and then you do that. And
like a pinball trainer.
Yeah, like a pinball trainer. Like,
I mean, it's just
kind of like the heads up tournament.
I would agree. Something like that would be great. I think it's very tough because, again, the only people that are reading the rules, right, on the little scorecard or little rule card.
No.
Well, the only people that read the little rule card and even pay attention to the playfield art are people that are already pinball players, right? They've already played for a long time. They know what to look for. But there's people that even played pinball for years and they still don't look at that stuff. They just don't.
Well,
And so there's already a lot of information out there. So I'm not so sure. Like I personally think a tutorial on IC would be pretty cool, but
Yeah.
I don't know how useful it would be to the masses. If somebody would, because there's a lot of people that still don't even know that you can hold both flippers in to change game modes and to go to DJ
Yeah.
Mixer. There's a lot of people that don't even realize that still, and they own the games. Like we talk to people all the time that have owned a game for like 2 or 3 years, and they're like, I just now discovered this. Is this a new code update? And I'm like, it's been in there since like 2022. It's been a little while, but
Yep.
yeah, it's just it's
Turtles.
hard to discover some of these things.
half shell challenge. We put on the Flipping Out, we put a half shell challenge video, and people are like, I've had this game for years and never knew it was in it. I just think I know we were talking about like when a game is released. This was when we were at the Stern factory, and I think I was talking to Team Elwin, and basically the idea is when a game's released, if it's not at 1.0, which pretty much none of them are, like what do you prioritize in the code? And I know some designers, they want to show the depth, they want to show how much they're gonna put in the game. But I remember Keith was like, no, on release day, I prioritize the first 10 minutes. I want to make sure that the first 10 minutes of the game is as buttoned up as possible, because that's what people are going to experience. It's opening day.
95% of people, that's all they will
it's
see.
the first 10 minutes.
Yep. Initial
That's-
reactions are everything.
So
look at Bond. Look at
Oh, yeah.
Bond. I mean,
But if
how
they
bare
would've-
bones that was, and a lot of people won't even touch it anymore.
I'm with you. So that's
Even
what
though
I'm
it's
saying.
an awesome game now.
From a design standpoint, what if you carried that what if you carried that past though? What if you carried that past the initial release and just like, how do we make the first 10 minutes? That's why when you put the Death Star as the best toy in Star Wars, that's not a first 10-minute experience. You got to beat multiple modes to get to a wizard mode to blow that thing up. So it's like, to me, it's like, how do you build as much fun as possible into the first 10 minutes?
Well,
And-
and to be fair on Star Wars, that kind of put Dwight behind the 8 ball too, because that
That's
Death
not
Star
his fault,
shot
yeah.
on a premium and LE is not an easy
It's
shot.
very hard.
Right. So, I
And
mean,
you
that
don't
makes
want to
it tough
destroy
as well.
the
Very
Death Star is
true.
the grand finale, right? You don't want to
Right.
destroy the Death Star
Right.
in
Yeah, you
30
can't leave-
seconds of
Yeah.
hitting start, you know?
Right. So it's kind of one of those things to where, yeah, if you're figuring out what to do early on, if I'm thinking of pinball, I want to design something in which 98% of people that come up are going to be able to experience the thing, because it's very easy to do. The 2% that don't, they're literally 5-year-olds just coming up and chimp flipping. They have no idea anyways. So I would want to do that. And then, yeah, just like you talked about with the rules and everything, I would want at least bare minimum your first 5 minutes on a game to be, like you said, very buttoned up, very tight
Yeah.
in terms of, oh, I do this, this will happen. Then I do this, this will happen. And that leads to a path of discovery. But I know it's not as simple to do something like that because there's just so many moving things going in at once. But I definitely agree. I think that rule set wise, it would help that things are much cleaner up front in terms of understanding how to do something immediately. And I think that's probably why Black Knight appeals to you guys too, because you know immediately what do you need to hit to light your modes. It's right there in front of you,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you could accidentally start that. That's one of the key things.
Yeah.
You don't have to skillfully start it. You could just flip away, silverback it, and accidentally get into something or accidentally start it at that shield. So I think there's just a lot of nuance that comes into this.
I'm not a game designer, and I have nothing but respect for the people that do it, because it's got to be near impossible to find. Like even Godzilla, as great as Godzilla is, one of the flaws or one of the things people complain about is like there are people that never experience a mode, and it's because the scoop shot's hard. Like if I had my wife come down here and play the game, and that's all it used to be you had to hit the left and right ramp. They changed that. Now you just have to hit 2 ramps. So it's great. Hopefully somebody can get up that right ramp twice. Boom, boom. But then they still got to hit the scoop, and they got to do that. But the good thing about Godzilla is even if a casual or novice player doesn't experience a mode, there's a chance that they're going to hit that building enough to see it go down, even if it's one step. And then they're curious, what just happened?
Unless it's a pro.
or they're going to hit Mecha Godzilla enough,
Or it's virtual
they're
locks.
going to see it spin. But it's just like there's enough there that I think a novice or casual player could have a really fun experience in that first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes.
So what about this then? What do you guys think about this? Because I've thought about this like for way too long, probably much longer than I should, but I've always thought it would be cool if a game started, and obviously like I always like the idea of picking your mode at the beginning. Then as soon as you plunge, it's like you're picking your own adventure. You're in the mode already.
Like
right?
Guardians, how you start. Okay.
But I understand the point that there's not any skill to that. You're just automatically in. So I've always wondered, what if you have a game in which you start your mode off the plunge, and then if you get through that, you unlock like your tier 2 or level 2 modes. Instead of it going in there automatically, that's something that you could choose to bypass a mode up front on the plunge, and instead you have to hit that shot to start it or something like that. To where it's kind of, it brings both worlds together.
It's kind of like what I was saying earlier of like, what if you locked the complexity? So you can choose the mode to go, or you skip it. And then when you get into that mode, it's going to be more complex.
Right. Basically, you start your ball without anything going, right? You just decide to play it old school, and then you got to hit like a scoop, ramp, orbit, whatever, to start that level 2 mode.
Let's say you apply that to Godzilla. You're saying you hit the start button, and it's choose your fight, pops up or whatever. Gigan. You could just do it and immediately be fighting Gigan. Or you can say exit and do your normal thing of qualifying it, hit the scoop. But when you do it, it's either worth more points or it's worth more.
Or you
whatever.
Just go to another level, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
something to make it more complex, maybe risk reward on the player to feel like, okay, there's a reason why I need to do this. And then for the extreme casual, and again, that's nobody listening to this podcast. We're talking about just the grandma that's walking up with the grandkids, and they have a bag over their shoulder, and they're kicking your ass at Pinball, but that's neither here nor there. And you just come up to the game and you make it accessible for a younger kid or somebody that just wants to see something. Like I've always wondered if that's, obviously it's possible, but I can't think of any game that really does
honestly,
something like that puts that together.
That
like
could be a feature that Stern could add, or even Insider Connected, where it's just like auto mode start or something, where when you hit start, and that would be a really cool feature also for teaching or training, because it's like, I want to practice this mode. Instead of having to qualify to practice it, you could just go straight to the mode, or you could pick your mode. But if that was a setting you could turn on at home, or maybe if you were an operator, you would allow it.
My kids would love that. My wife would I would love that. Yeah, that would be a field day, because there's too many times like I want to practice one particular thing, and sometimes I don't want to wait and do all the things, so I'll just take the glass off, get there quick, and then just play it as is.
You could put it in Insider Connected pretty easy, which would just be practice, and then it allows you. I mean,
like
I'm just
free
thinking,
roam mode or something like that, like a sandbox gameplay. That'd be cool. Maybe. I think I could see something like that.
But if I had like Black Knight and it was and I said practice start, well, it would. What if it immediately acted like I've already qualified it and I've hit the shield and I'm already at the point where I'm, instead of starting a character, it allows me to pick a character and boom, from there on, be a normal game.
Right.
But just allow me to get straight into a mode, or allow me.
Yeah, I could. Something like that would be interesting. I don't think you label it practice though, because you want to appeal to as many people as possible. So maybe if there's like a sandbox gameplay, like free, like that's what I was thinking, free roam or whatever it could be, because stuff like that was popular with Halo in game, like making your own maps
GTA.
and stuff like that.
So
yeah,
it makes sense.
exactly.
It makes
that's
sense
what's
at
kept
home.
GTA around for over a decade.
Absolutely,
It makes the game. It keeps the game relevant.
It makes it fun.
They've already, I mean, they're already doing it with the challenge modes in a way where you can skip to. And by the way, clarification on the black and white Godzilla. It's different. So if you own a topper, you get the King of Monsters Time Attack. Time Attack, that mode is different than when you get to King of Monsters within the game normally.
I got yelled at.
Yeah. So
we just pivoted, didn't we?
Well, this is a clarification. This is a
we're talking
clarification.
about toppers again.
I mean,
This is just a clarification. So that is, I'm just clarifying it. So if you have the topper, you get the time mode, and the whole point of the time mode is it's never ending ball save. You get 5 minutes. It's a fun mode.
What mode is with that Bart topper behind you?
That's the shooting mode. I don't know what it's called, shootout or something. It's really fun.
Does it have like a special mode attached to it?
It's not in any other game because there's lights on the topper. It's
Ooh.
not. You have to have the top. But anyways, on the Godzilla 70th that just came out, that challenge mode I'm pretty sure is just going to be like you just warped to the King of Monsters mode that's already in the game. So back to what we were saying. So challenge modes, we're already doing that in challenge modes to get to some of the wizard modes that they put time into. But
I
you're
guess
almost
how
saying,
popular would something like that be, though?
what?
Like, who would that appeal to with what we're talking about? Like, yeah, it would be cool to us three to do.
I think it would be huge. I think
would that be something like the majority of people would care about?
I genuinely think, like my dad, every single time he goes down to play Turtles, can he get into Turtle Power, the pizza multi-ball? Yeah, normally he can hit that enough to get into that. If he picks Scott Donatello, he's one ramp shot away from getting into Turtle Power multi-ball. But has he ever felt like he achieved something in that game? No, because he's never gotten into a mode and then beaten a mode. Compare that to Deadpool, where Deadpool, all you have to do is fall into a scoop and you're in a mode. Like, I've had novice players at my house beat bad guys in Deadpool because they're one shot away from experiencing being in the mode, and then it's clear enough to know what to do that they're like, I'm playing it again. I'm not this cat guy, Sabretooth. I'm playing him until I beat him. You know, they just keep doing it because they know they can do it. They can pick him.
Mm-hmm. Well, the end of the modes too are brilliant on that game. The fact that, it just focuses you on the scoop completely. Yep. It kind of reminds me of Gorgar in that way that you just hear the music just kind of change and pump up. You know what I'm talking about, Tom? I know Joel will have no idea.
I do. So, yes.
You know what Gorgar is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It was the game that had the first speech in it.
Ooh, you do know. Have you played it before?
I have. It was, honestly, this is me being bad. No, it's just some of these older games, it's like, I appreciate it for what it is, but I'm over it. I don't know.
You don't like the devil on the back glass and
it's like
half naked women?
I appreciate it for what it is, but
not your thing.
I'm not a tournament player and I'm not going to ever own that game. So
I'm looking at it right now, Joel. I also have Laser Q right next to it, which is totally different than Gorgar. You know what Laser Q looks like?
I've actually played it. It looks ridiculous, but it's great.
It has like dudes in Speedos and muscles out while playing space pool. Yeah. That's a great theme.
I think you have a good idea though, Travis. It just maybe it's sandbox. I just don't necessarily need it's. I just wish there was a way that novice players could just get straight into experiencing a mode, and maybe that doesn't have to be coded by default because my only fear with that, like the thing I don't like about Guardians is when everybody always plays the same mode. So you watch it, it's like there's 8 modes in it, but you're always starting with the same one. And that's what I kind of like about Turtles is I like that I'm not picking the mode. Sure, you could change it, but same thing with Stranger Things. You can technically change the mode in Stranger Things, but to change it, you have to go back in the pop bumpers. How much control do you really have by a ball hitting pop bumpers?
Think of the video game world. Like, you play a video game for the first time, it kind of walks you through like how to do certain things. Like, not every game does that, but
except for Elden Ring.
No, it doesn't do that. But
no, like it just beats the shit out of you the whole time.
It's known for being brutal,
Like some of the games like Call of Duty or something, you have like a mini intro campaign in the beginning of the game where you actually learn how to play, I don't think it's something like you would do initially, like when you hit the start button, but maybe through Insider Connect. I think that would be an awesome idea. Just like, how do you start this multi-ball?
I would like to see, if possible, if Stern would actually start doing tutorials for their games. Like they actually play, they edit it, they do the full-on tutorial for it, and then maybe offer that on the screen itself. So it's like an option that you can go into. So it's kind of like you have like Carl's Attract thing that shows up, which is cool. But then imagine if that video, like if they can play a video that's a promo on there, surely they can get a video that's like a tutorial on there.
Absolutely.
Like a 2.5 to 5 minutes, however long you need it. That's for the home user to say, hey, okay, here's what it is.
Here's
real
how
quick,
you play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to go in like super depth, but
no, you just have the designer or the rules person show up and explain it real quick, like a quick promo, because they could still have it on YouTube. They'll still get the views and all that. And then bring it over onto the software.
There would definitely be value in the tutorial. I think you're right. I think if it was linked to Insider Connect and there was a way, I don't know if you tag your profile with a skill level
or have a QR code, learn how to play the game.
But I'm just saying, if my wife came in and she home team boop doo 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 goes to her name and then hits start, like Venom would say as soon as you hit start, it would pop up and it would say like, I don't know, it was like
save progress
or no progress.
Right.
Like if at that moment it would pop up, boom, and it would say like, I don't know, beginner,
tutorial.
use whatever you want. Maybe not even tutorial, but if it was like beginner mode or normal mode, if she picks
Joel,
beginner, sure,
normal,
call it Joel,
Carl.
But that's what
they need to do.
I would love that the easy mode. I'm not saying the easy mode needs to have less shots. What I'm saying is if she picked the easy mode in Jaws, what if that means whatever shot she is, she's one shot away from a mode?
Hasn't that been done before, Travis? Like,
I mean, you can kind of
Batman Forever or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ways that you could do it. Anyways, you could go into the install menu and install like super easy or whatever it is. And there, where like the comp install is and all that. Now, of course, obviously you got to get into the coin door to do that. So if we're speaking on accessibility for somebody that's just playing it on location, that doesn't have access to that. Yeah, it would, the nicest part to it, what I would love is if you had the ability to take your QR code from Insider Connect and then choose what difficulty this game's going to be set on as soon as you log in. Like that's what I would like to have access to.
Well,
like to me, that would be cool.
Because I totally agree. I would love to play, if I was playing a one-on-one game with my nephew, and I log in with my account, I'm playing on normal. He logs in, he's playing on easy. I'm fine with the score. Like I want to compete with that handicap. But if I'm playing Godzilla, like I'm fine with easy mode saying as soon as he hits start, he's already in the scoop. Technically, he's picking his battle. He's starting right into a battle. I mean, you could set that or have the designer choose. Maybe he already has one ball virtually locked. You can't play two people on the same game with different difficulties.
Why not?
Because you have to set that in the menu.
Well, I'm saying like with the QR code, like why could they not isolate it to each player? Because I can go on a console game.
Why can't you?
And play like Borderlands, right? And I could be in the same co-op group with my family, and I could be playing on the hardest levels, and they could be playing on just the cannon fodder level.
I'm with you. Like, ball save be double, whatever it normally is. Like,
but I'm also not a coder, so I don't know how difficult this would be to do.
Some coders like you sons of bitches.
Travis. If Ray can code a game, I mean, it can't be that bad,
right? Joel.
Wow.
Ray, that's what Joel said. I didn't say it, Ray.
Wow.
Damn, he's so high on you playing Led Zeppelin too.
The only reason I call him out is because I know he listens. That's it.
See, now the real Joel comes out. See, now you guys know what I go through behind the scenes.
Anyways, if you haven't noticed, the news is light. So we just wanted to have a fun conversation. If you agree with any of us or disagree or tell us we're dumb, or if you can code a game, write the comment on YouTube, write the comment, or write it on Pinside, or shoot us an email at triplej@gmail.com. Let us know. Do you agree with this? Do you not? Whatever. I mean, it's an interesting thought, but to me,
we're just talking about accessibility. That's really what it boils down to.
I just think the games that have stood out to me are at least the ones that have been more and more receptive by my friends and family that get to play them. Sure, mechanical satisfaction. I do think having an interactive toy is important. But I'm realizing you're right. Like Black Knight, you can be in a mode in 2 shots. Godzilla, sure, it's 3 shots, but one of those shots is challenging. Like Cactus Canyon, you can really be in, like, I don't know, just trying to think of that shallower experience.
You're talking about just easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
Which is typically how a lot of your 70s and 80s pinball machines were as well. That's why Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness, that's why they're so popular, for that exact reason. Because you know exactly what to do, right? On Attack from Mars, it doesn't mean everybody's getting to total annihilation, because you guys still hit the shots. But yet anybody could destroy a little saucer up the middle. You could do that by accident completely. I've watched my 3-year-old do that in the past. So,
okay, another question. And do you agree with this statement that this is a statement from my good friend Retro Sengo? He says that 50% of the pinball experience to him is audio. Audio makes.
Do I agree that it's 50%
Do
of
you
the
agree
experience
for
for
your
him?
personal experience
For him.
when you play a game? I mean, I know your answer. I know the answer. But do you feel that audio is 50% of the overall experience to you, good or bad?
With my headphones on or with my headphones off?
Yeah, like what time are we playing this, Joel?
I think, okay, if you're at home, a home collection, you're committed to, you're focused on not tournament, because I know tournament you'll drown it out and listen to whatever T Swift while you're playing a game. But when you're at home, like you really want to experience a game. Maybe that's your question. What percentage would you put at audio being as how important is audio?
100% of my enjoyment is when I hit a fucking shot.
Okay.
100% of my enjoyment's when I hit start and I just crank up the volume and I just get out my lawn chair and I just sit there and watch it. I watch all the pretty lights go.
Would you ever play the game muted? Would you ever play it?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
And that's fun for you?
At home. Well, because I'm playing pinball. I'm just focusing on the shots and everything.
So really,
I get lost in it.
The sound package.
Like Joel, I'm weird. Okay, so here's the thing. I love this. I love the sound packages. Like on some of these games, I have like Iron Maidens over there, right?
Yeah.
And Godzilla, Jurassic Park. All these games have subwoofers on them. So if I want to listen to the music, I will crank it up. Like it is cool hearing the Jurassic Park, right? Like that's cool. Then there's other times I just want to pop on a podcast and just play the game. Yeah, because I get lost in it. Like when I play pinball, I don't think about anything else. Like if I could have the most stressful day ever, I'll step up to a pinball machine and I'll just get lost in it for like those 15, 20 minutes. So, I mean,
and you
is audio part of the experience? Yeah, of course it is.
You changed the sound package on your Iron Maiden to like in sync, right? What did you?
Hip Hop Maiden, baby.
Hip Hop Maiden.
It's awesome. I miss it. Not that one, but on my LE that I had.
Okay, clearly audio is important. I mean, I have headphone adapters on all my games. Pinwoofer makes amazing products. A lot of people upgrade their speakers. You said you had subwoofers. I know when I stream, I'm doing direct capture of audio. My brother and I are both wearing headphones. We're trying to hear everything about that game. The reason I asked the question, though, is when we streamed Black Knight's sound package is fantastic. It's fantastic. Metal guitars, blood pumping. It's fantastic. But one of the guys in chat said, hey, there's an alternate sound package on that game. You should try a game with it on. I turned it to the alternate sound package and it completely changed the experience for us. Maybe not completely. It wasn't, but it was
the vibe.
It was a drastic change in a positive way.
Oh, okay.
It's like orchestrative, every mode, instead of it just being more metal guitar, it's like the modes are very different depending on the sound. And it just completely changed, heart rate increase or adrenaline, or like Jared and I just got sucked into the game even further with this audio package change. And it was something that I would consider a good audio package. And then the change, and I just, once again, it just, the more I'm into pinball, or maybe it's just streaming with headphones, the importance of a good audio package is slowly increasing in my mind. Because you take a game like Toy Story, where that audio package is painful. Like I would struggle to own Toy Story because of the audio package. But if you told me today they release a code update and they change the songs or improve the audio package in Toy Story, it would be like, well, okay, maybe I would own that game or something.
Now, the real question is the importance of audio. Like in terms of priority, I think audio is right behind like lights and actual gameplay.
Okay.
In order to complete the full experience for you. Like I would put that ahead of LCD.
100%.
Like audio is everything. And it's like that for any experience, whether it's obviously music, but movies, right? That's why a lot of people get fancy sound bar, surround sound, or you get like the 4K DVD with the immersive Dolby Atmos sound or whatever that is.
Yep.
So music is, an audio package is everything. That's why callouts are important. Little SFX stuff is super important. So for the overall package, absolutely. Like I would say it's 100% important.
Well, I think that's what Sengez was basically saying. Like unless you're muting your game or you're putting headphones on to listen to, your podcasts, you can't ignore the audio. Like you are going to hear it. And that's every time. Like, it doesn't matter how focused you are on the ball, the audio is still coming into your ears. And that's what I'm realizing is I agree. I would rather have, no movie clips or terrible 3D animation or static images. Like, I don't care about any of that. But if you have good audio, Pulp Fiction's a perfect example. Like the sound package in Pulp Fiction, sure, the movie clips some of them are grainy because it's original movie clips from the sound packages from the thing. But the rest of the music really, I don't know, it really adds to the experience.
The sound tees up an emotion for you that guides what your behavior is going to be. Like, do you feel rushed in doing something? Like, just like we were talking about Gorgar earlier. That's what makes it popular, because the sound starts going faster, faster. You may not even have a shot. Anyways, it just causes you to want to move faster. So it's
in Pulp Fiction. Once you get through all the scenes, you get to the shot. The shot is what it's called, and that's the adrenaline, and it is the craziest sound experience. One of them, probably like top 3 I've experienced in a pinball machine, because you hear you're the girl. I don't know her name, but so the sound is kind of coming in and out, the background noise, and all you hear is this heartbeat. It's the craziest. Yep. But what an experience. What an awesome. So
I mean, Jaws does that too. As soon as you hit start, it does the happy, whimsical music. But then what's cool is, as soon as you get that ball out on the playfield and you're technically in the water. That's when the Jaws theme starts, and that's what's pretty cool. That's immersive to me.
I totally agree, and that's the grin that I saw on my dad's face when he was playing the game, of just immediately being sucked into that. And I think Godzilla does it really well, but honestly, it's I just think when people are who's on that design team? Sure, we want to know the overall designer, because we want to kind of have an idea of what the shots are going to be like. We want to know who's on the code. People want to know who did the art. Oh, this is a Zombie Yeti game. This is a Christopher Frenchie game. People want to know that. But to me, it's more and more, who's on sound? And if you tell me you hired out the sound, like JJP has done on a few games, they hire out the sound to some, I don't know, cell phone casino company. It's that is such a gut punch to me. Of it's just why would you do it? Don't cheap out on that. Sound is so important. So I don't know. I would encourage anybody to watch. If you haven't heard the alternate sound package, you can check out the stream that Jared and I did on Flipping Out YouTube. And basically halfway through, we swap.
That's where this was going, Tom.
I'm not trying to.
This is self-promotion.
It was a full-on promo this whole time.
Don't go there. Good luck.
Check his desk. Does he have notes from Zach right now?
I was wondering where we were going with.
Yeah, it's me. It was my fault. I have no idea how I'm going to cut this together, but if you were just hearing and then all of a sudden there was a blank. It was me.
At least you're willing to admit that.
I was getting so upset that what happened is I moved my Go XLR, which is funny because that's the device Travis was having issues with that started
this isn't
problem.
About me. No, I moved the Go XLR into it. That was 90 minutes ago.
It unplugged it, which killed my sound. And what was surprising is on Zencastr, it immediately stopped the recording. So what they were bashing me because apparently I was plugging my YouTube channel. What I was going to say is good luck finding the alternate sound package anywhere else.
Zach's YouTube channel.
Okay. Yes. The live streaming I will take ownership for.
That's true.
But it is on Flipping Out. Yes.
You do great content, though, Joel. I'll give that to you. You do have great content.
Thank you. So anyways, try to find, if you happen to be a Black Knight owner, if you didn't know it, go to your adjustments. I think it's setting 100 and try the alternate sound package. It's freaking awesome. It's really, really good.
But wait for the White Knight to come out.
the White Knight art pack. Okay. Just to clarify, because
and go to Joel's video first before you do that as well, so you can hear it.
Yeah, check out and like and subscribe and thumbs up. Yep. No. Just so Tom and his reaction video he's like, "Is there going to be a Jaws black and white? I would hope they don't do any more black and white unless the original content was black and white." Elvira, I understand because all the movies are black and white.
I know it makes total sense with Godzilla, but it really didn't with Elvira.
Okay.
in my opinion.
I got a rib cramp. Sorry.
So,
Yeah,
but when John Wick Black and White comes out, it's going to be awesome.
It can't because they're already doing the noir thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
So
what other games do they have that could possibly be black and white?
A Stern game?
Yep. Like current games that they have.
I mean, Turtles, you could technically do black and white, but you'd have to redo the
Ooh.
entire art package
That's true.
to
I
like the
forgot about that.
original
You're absolutely right.
Eastman or whatever.
Spider-Man
be that.
Black Edition. Oh shit, they did that.
They already did that. Yeah. Already happened.
Tron.
I mean, the
No.
bigger question is, could theoretically every game could have a new edition. You could do another art package for almost every game, but
It just goes back to like we talked about. Buy what you see today, what you like today. If you decide to sit on the sidelines because you think something else may happen in the future, then so be it. It may happen. It may not
Ooh.
happen.
Jaws
Well-
Blood and Gore Edition.
which was, and we do need to wrap up, but it was just one of the things Travis said, because I was talking about Black Knight while I was fixing all this crap, but it was, just if you're enjoying a game and you're thinking about buying it, just, do what Travis, just go ahead, buy it, enjoy it, play the heck out of it. Worst case, you sell it. Best case, you keep it. I know some
Don't
people
do
that
it.
are selling Godzilla, not because it's not an amazing game, it's because they feel they can play it at their friend's house or play it at the bar. I mean, that was kind of the bigger aha for me with Black Knight. Was I had completely written the game off, as like, I heard it's brutal. It is what it is. Get it here in the house, play the heck out of it for a few hours now, having a blast. So if you're bored of your collection, or you find there's games in your collection you're not playing, trade them in,
Sell.
Gotta do
Get
the
something
old
new.
Yeller thing.
Yeah.
Take it out back.
Yeah,
That's what you gotta do.
there's some really great games out there that it's worth a shot, or make some friends in the area and swap. That's something I've done before. I know it's a
Trade.
pain lugging and moving those things around, but it's like, hey, let's swap this game for 3 months.
I mean, it's just it's a pain for like that 1 hour, and then you have hours upon hours. I've done that before. It's totally
Tell
worth
your
it if you
friends
have
like,
trustworthy
your game
friends.
sucks. I want my game back.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know. It's just there's a lot of
Joel
really
will
good
trade us
pinball
a
out there.
game. We're like, Joel, like, why do you have everything down, like all the way on the end, and these fat ass rubbers everywhere?
I thought about
Gosh.
it. I thought about on Black Knight. I was like, I know this game's brutal. Maybe I should go ahead and close the outlanes a little bit. And boy, are they hungry. Boy, are these outlanes hungry. But
Are you using
honestly,
your Magna save?
oh boy, I did it a few times. But you've got to be like a precog and know the ball's going in that direction to actually save the game, or save the
Sure.
ball. But what I will say is, like, on a 3-ball game, I've gotten through 3 of the creatures. So it's like, it's right. The chance of me potentially facing the Black Knight on a 3-ball game, I feel like it's possible.
Are you trying to collect night letters at all?
I have, yes, and I've gotten to one of those multi-balls only one time. So it's like it's achievable, but it's going to be a challenge. So I'm fine with where it's at. But Zach challenged me, or he challenged Jared and I on stream. Set the game to 6-ball, play one player, but alternate the 2 of you. So it basically created a co-op game. And he said if I could defeat the Black Knight, then we could he would give away something. But in that, we had gotten
You
to the
blew
5th
it.
guy. We had gotten to the 5th guy, and I blew it. I did. Yeah, I blew it.
Do you know
Okay.
how the power sword or whatever? Do you know how
Yeah.
that works?
It's
To make
brilliant.
the modes a little bit easier for
It
you.
makes them easier, but to activate it, you're hitting the deadliest shot in the game. And that's the problem, is I had it activated. I'm like, what do I do? Do I take a shot straight up the middle at that to make my life
Backhand it.
easier?
Use your right flipper. So
yeah.
if you go right flipper, aim to the right of it,
Yeah.
then you'll be fine.
I need to get that. I need to like find what I feel is safer. Because to get into another mode, if you don't know in Black Knight, you have to hit the Black Knight, which you're either hitting the flail, the big stand up right at his belly, or you hit his shield. Those are the 3 shots. So they're all rough. So it's like, which one's the safer shot? And to get further in the game, you have to hit him more. So it's fun, but be prepared. This ball's coming right back at you. So you got to hit and react. So I've been backhanding the shield, but even that doesn't feel, it's not 100% safe. I mean, it's it's a fun
you
challenge.
You could go straight down the middle shot as well.
But okay, well, that's we got to wrap up. I got to go.
Joel's
help
in
my
trouble
wife
with his wife.
My wife says she's got to make a call for a patient. We got to figure out lunch. So, sorry to everybody that this was a month since the last time we recorded. Hopefully, it won't take that long again. But yeah, let's go ahead and plug it up, starting with Tom.
I am Fox Cities Pinball on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook and Instagram. You can find me there. But I have, well, the podcast probably won't be out, but watch our pin skins coming up this Sunday. Pin
Nice.
golf.
Thank you, Tom.
Nice.
Travis.
Yeah, I'm Travis, and I'm on here on Triple Drain Pinball Podcast, found on the TPN network. And are we on Spotify?
Oh, it's under
Apple, Podbean?
it's on
I don't
all
know.
the things. Yep.
Yeah, so you can find me on all the things with these two knuckleheads, and the Pinball Company on YouTube, doing tutorials, videos, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Those
And
are good.
I'm Joel. I do the Flipping Out Pinball stream every Wednesday night on YouTube. Check that out.
That's also good.
We have merch. My brother and I, we worked with Johnny Crap. He helped design a pretty cool logo and kind of just fun art piece. So we have merch now. Check that out on Silverball Swag. I know Fox Cities Pinball merch is on Silverball Swag. Triple Drain merch is on Silverball Swag. So buy a little of everything. But yeah, we really appreciate the support. All the people that support us on Patreon. If you want a lunchbox, go to Zazzle. all the good stuff. But
Dang,
I think that's it.
Tom
Hopefully-
is like decked out.
Oh,
Look
he's
at
got
that.
all the Triple Drain stuff on. Yeah.
Joel pays me well.
We didn't even do a Tom Talks this episode either.
We
Like, I'm
didn't.
sorry, Tom. I
That's
told
all right.
Joel
I'll
we're going
talk.
to do
Okay,
that,
I
and Joel's
talked.
like, "Shut up, we're not going to do it." And I'm
I
If
talked
you
for
need
like
more-
5 minutes.
If you need more Tom Talks, go to Fox Cities Pinball YouTube, and you got all the reaction videos. It's nobody interrupts him. It's all Tom.
No,
It's great.
It's all Tom.
I
All right,
interrupt
Tom.
myself.
You get the last words.
Goodbye.